show you how I design. I'm going to show you how I design. So here we go. I'm sharing the screen. And I'm minimized, which is good. Always good when I'm minimized. And I'm going to start off with just a basic layout, and I'm going to show you why I design in a certain way. Now, I am not saying my way is correct. I just have morphed into this out of experience and experimenting more so. And I did get an email the other day, well, today actually, from somebody who mentioned that I don't like the path grader. They've noticed that I'm not a fan of the path grader. Well, I'm not a fan of it for one reason. Here's the path grader. We're going to go into this in detail on Thursday when we go through elevations. There's a reason why some of these buttons appeal to me and some don't. And his actual comment was that it's his favorite button. Well, that's great. You will all develop your own techniques. I'm going to show you why I use straight lines today. And, let's go from there. And, pick your own method once you get up to speed on how all the buttons are working. So let's just show a couple of things here. Excuse me for 1 second. I'm going to go back to our, very briefly to our first class here and go to this import button. Import, picture, next, an overlay. Now, an overlay, as we discussed last week, is a blueprint that's going to lie flat on the table. So now we just have to find one. Okay, go to desktop and let's get something. Let me see if I can get. Let's take this one. This is a nice survey. We'll talk about it for a couple of reasons. It comes in obviously very small. It's unscaled. So that's our next job, is to scale a blueprint. And that's what I love about this program or this actual feature. It is because 2 clicks of a button, you've got this whole thing framed out. But what a beautiful and clear survey. And we only need one dimension on here to resize using known distance. You can see now where my mouse is, resize using known distance. So all I have to do is tell the software what size this is going to be. So what I do is click on the button, and I'm going to turn off the magnet. We've discussed why I do that, but I can read a lot of numbers here. 38.23 feet. So I left click, hold down the shift button to keep me straight, right click, and you will see my computer, because of the 2-foot squares, my computer reads this as 3 foot 3 inches, but I'm telling it to read it at 38.23 feet. And hit OK. Now the whole drawing is scaled. It has a scale to go to, meaning if I want to build a patio or a driveway straight away, left click, I'm just going to go up. You see the curvature that's going on there? I'm not going to deal with that at the moment. I'm just going to click my way around. And if you hold down the shift button, you can get nice straight lines. You notice I ignored the corner bend right there. You'll see here, I ignored that. I'm going to go to edit points, click on that point, and then I'm going to go to the word round corners. And I am going to just drag slowly away and get some resemblance to that curve. Go to this one and drag back until I see the green line. I've gone a little bit too far, as you can see. Just comb it back. All I'm doing is holding down my left click button, mouse button, And there we have it. I have duplicated that driveway by rounding corners. Now, that's a technique that I like. I'm not saying it's right. You can do whatever you want. But what the gentleman is alluding to on the path grader, and it's a great tool, in order for me to get these nice curvatures going here, you have to click, click, click all over, left click, and then you have to comb in every point. This technique of mine is when I pick one point at a 90-degree angle and drag it, is so much easier. And I'm not going to lose any points or be criticized that I'm off by a couple of inches, because you're not going to see the survey by the time I'm done. But what I do like about it, if I click off the round corners and click off the edit points, if I go to the bottom, I'm in edit patio at the moment. If I do go to the bottom, it gives me the square footage, 1475 square feet, with a perimeter of 165 feet and 2 inches. If I go to my tools, project material list, and I have to, unfortunately, I have to move things around on my screen just to see what you're seeing. It actually gives me the material that I can order from my supplier. And that's what I really like about it, because the days of old were literally, you have to get out a wheel at 10 o'clock at night and measure a job and price it. So this is a pretty neat way of doing it. The other way, the reason I like the survey is so quick to put the house in. House, left click, shift button down, and just trace in 90-degree lines. I find, now on the corner here, I messed up there, but that's okay. It's okay to mess up, or I wouldn't be normal if I didn't mess up. And you will mess up the tighter you get. Now you can see that area that I did make a mess. I'll go to edit points and I'll just zoom in and I'll take this back up to it. There we go. That's where it should have been. And that's what happens sometimes when you work in a small scale. If you really want to get into detail, you have to start zooming in. But that's really neat. And if I then go into the perspective mode, 3 buttons on the bottom, go to the middle mode, you can see I just placed the house on the survey. And I really, really do like that. I love the fact that the address is still there. If I don't want it to be so vibrant, all I do is click on the survey and go to transparency button on the right and knock it down. So it's more of a green matte, still with readable address and data on there. And if I go into the walkthrough mode, you'll see, again, if I wanted to present this to a client, they have a really good reflection of their land, the lot, the swimming pool placement, the perspective. So I am a big fan of leaving the overlay inside my design. Now, the alternative to that is, once you've got it framed up, do you actually need it? If you don't, you can hit delete and it's gone. If you change your mind, hit undo and it's back. I like it. The good thing also, I get a lot of questions on fencing and fencing. Just click on the fence button and hold down the shift button. Nice straight lines. And let's just right click here, look at it in walkthrough. I should have picked a darker color, to be honest. Well, you can edit it. Let me just drop you down here slowly. And there you can see a fence goes in nicely, all based on the survey. Very quickly. I mean, already in less than 3-4 minutes, we have a house, a driveway, and a fence in there. If I want to start working on the pool, I would go to my transparency and decrease it so it's more visible. And let's just do that. We're going to go to the landscape mode, or actually stay in the same mode here, swimming pool. Hit pool. And you can either load a shape, because the rectangular shape is already built in. I'll show you that quickly. It's already built in. So there's your pool. But what you can do is go to shape options, load shape. And you could pick, there's your rectangle. It's okay. You can pick that if you want and just tweak it by edit points. Or you could pick a complicated design and again tweak it just by editing its points. Now there's your pool in the ground. If you want to do a pool decking around it, click on the pool decking and then start, shift button down. And you're actually going to encompass the outer edges of the swimming pool. I release, there was a question, this reminds me, how do I get various angles? You know, if I hold down the shift button, it makes me stay at certain lines and angles. I can't stray off that with a shift button. If I release the shift button, I'm going more into the CAD process, shift button back down again for a straight line. If my line isn't agreeable with a shift button on, I release it for a second and then go back to starting point. And there you have a pool. Now, the advantage of doing the pool decking is, and I get this from a lot of people, they put the pool in and they go to the patio button, which is in the building mode, and they start to build the patio. And once you build the patio, it will then cover your pool. And they say, you know, I can see the brick underneath my water. It's because you use the wrong mode there. If you want to put a patio around a deck, you will use the pool decking mode. So this survey is invaluable to me. It's just click and shoot and place. And that's what I like about it. Now let's just go through, let's take this driveway out for a second. Let's just imagine that we're going to look at this and walk through. Right, let's get up in the air. I'm going to build a sidewalk at the front of the house here and a stoop and getting out to the driveway. You see the crosshatch on the ground. I'm going to build a stoop there and a sidewalk to get us out. So forget the actual shape of the driveway. I might even steal some real estate from that. So what I do is literally, I work in perspective a lot because I can see what I'm doing straight away. But for accuracy, you would have to pin the stoop in a plan mode. But what I'm going to do is first place it. I'm going to put a retaining wall stoop, left click, shift, and you can see I've done it again. I always do this all these years. I never learned. And I'll tell you what I don't learn. The walls come in curved. And I build a lot of my stoops straight. So this annoys me. Why don't I learn? Well, that's a very good question. What you have to do then is go to the word edit points. Now they all get highlighted. If I click on the first button, hold down the shift button and select all of them, all I do is go to my curve type. Right under edit points, there's a button or 4 buttons that says curve type. If I click on the first button, you can see it's like a bird's beak, it's straight, and this one has a little bit of curvature. If I click on the straight, can you see what it did to my stoop? It straightened all of them into 90-degree lines. Look at it in plan, it's going to look awful maybe, not too bad. Why do I beat myself up? It is awful. That's because I deserved it, I guess. Now, you see they're all moving. Why are they all moving? It's because I left all of them active and hot. So what you have to do is undo the edit points, then go back to edit points and pick one singular and tweak it from there. So you can go to every point, and I won't do too much because my mouse is enlarged for your benefit to see where I am. And I can just go to each point and tuck it in. And that's because I designed this in perspective mode. But in plan, you can get it right on the money. And if you don't like it, let's start this again and go. I'm going to show you something, what you can do to prevent yourself from editing all these points. If I go to retaining wall, and if I was smart enough, I would have realized after maybe nearly 10 years, go straight to the curve type. You see it here? Click on it and make it active. Now, when I go to retaining wall, I don't have to worry about going back. I just hold down the shift button. Might have to tweak that a little bit there. Not too worried. So you can see now I'm straight lines without any editing. I kind of like that. So look at that in perspective. Now I have a house and I'm forming a stoop. Let's just bring this house up in terms of height. Let's make it a 2-story, just knock it up a few feet. That should do it. And I'm going to go into the wall material. Again, another question. How do I change the wall material? You click on the house, edit house, click on the house, wall material, go into the brick section on the top and pick a brick that might suit the house. And this is what Ray will be showing on Thursday. He's going to show his perspective in adding a material. And I often do it. I build my own brick swatches. But Ray's got a real good way of presenting it. So it's his birthday present from me. He's allowed to talk. Right. So there we have a 2-story house and a stoop being formed. Again, notice the white siding alongside the edge of the brickwork. We can turn that off because you don't have white siding over brick or any siding over brick the full length of the corner. It's just there pre-built into the program. If you start with a wooden house, it's easier to take it off with that button than put it back. Right, now there's the stoop. And what I'm going to do is go to the door and place the door. The door now sits at grid level. So I'm going to bring it up. Let's say I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to bring it up a little bit just to play a bit. So let's give it an even, let's give it an even 3 feet. Now what I'm going to do is go to this wall that we just put in as our perimeter for the stoop, and I'm going to knock it down. 1'6", half the distance. Then what I'm going to do is go to this button here. I'm going to select the shape of the stoop that I built. So I'm now going to go to shape options, copy shape. I'm going to go to my brick option, shape options, paste shape. Oh, and look how high that is in the air. Holy cannoli. Well, I must have clicked a little too aggressively. See the elevation? What is going on with that? That is weird. I'm in the negatives here. But anyway, you can see a glitch just happened, but I'm going to keep going just to place it in there. I wonder if I hit the right button. Edit patio, yeah. So there you see it. I just raised a brick up and down to match the step. So that's the quickest way, or an easy way, of building a stoop. What you can do then, you see this word patio stairs, I can go from here, but again, go to it in plan because my line could be off. And it is, you see, I'm right behind the house there. Look at it in plan. I just pull this out here. Look at it in perspective. There's my steps. Now what you can do is edit points. And I would suggest you do this in plan because you can see the angle that it's going to play with.
Patty, one of our participants just notified me. I think you accidentally hit.
That's kind of nicely in line. Click off the edit points. You see the door, it's got a bird's hook mouth there. I'm going to flip that symbol vertically and get it out of the way. So when I'm looking at it in plan, it doesn't distract me. Go back to perspective, and you can see I'm roughly in line. You know, this stoop could work for me. So I built a stoop and steps to get to the door. And I can do the same thing again at ground level. I can go to steps, patio stairs again, and I can click left to right. It defaults at that height when it comes in, and all you do is go to your elevation button, which is here, knock it down to meet the step. So there I have a stoop built with a retaining wall. I've infilled it with pavers. I added stairs to there, and I added stairs to the bottom. And then, why do I goof around on my page jumped? I can lock that in as well, so it doesn't move. But I'm just being quick today, to be honest. Now go back to the driveway. What you can do then is go to your patio, and then place, as I said, your driveway. I would go in straight lines, and then you can make a really nice presentation there. You can leave, if you're designing, you can leave at whatever angle you want. If I want to match the survey, round corners as described, just get that curve in there. Go to here, get the curve in here. Little far, go back. And you can pretty much, with practice, you'll get it right on the money. Edit points out, and then perspective, and walk through from, oh, why? Ray, are you there?
Patty, yeah, Patty, you hit
something's going on
instead
with
of
my
elevation.
patio button.
You hit elevation and height. They're opposite.
Your microphone's not on, Ray.
Oh, that's odd.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Turn your microphone
Can you hear me now?
I don't know why, but I'm getting an issue here with.
Can you hear me now?
The software.
Can you hear me now? Hello.
I just have to bring it down. I apologize. I've not had this before, so.
Patty, is your volume up?
Something has gone on here. So there's a quick way of putting in driveways, and I think I don't know. I was going to suggest something. I'm going to keep quiet in case I confuse you. But so that's an idea of how you can use different shapes, sizes, heights, staircases, and if you're in the hardscape business, this is basically the nuts and bolts of what you'll be doing for a job. And then what I'm going to do is put patio stairs in here. Again, I design in perspective because I like to see where I'm going, but I tidy up in plan. So there, ooh, look at this. Boy, I am having problems with my computer, and I apologize.
Patty, can you hear me?
I'm tired as well. I was on the road for hours last night in an awful storm. It took me 6 hours to drive home from yeah, this is definitely not right. So I'm going to turn this one off and start again and reload the program. I apologize for that. Bear with me for a second here. The other thing I'm going to do is show you the something that I do all the time here, to be honest. I'm going to load a drawing. Get this out of the way. File. I'm just going to pick the front office of Unilock that I designed last season, that we turned it into 3D. Let's see if this loads. There's a lot of content in this presentation. This one that should load up. And you're going to get to a point where you don't really want to do stuff again. And by that, I mean, if I like a portion of something I've done, just as I showed here last week, if I like this portion, I can stripe it and then copy it and then bring it into a different elevation. That is invaluable to me. So that's a shortcut that I really want you to start thinking about. For example, this area here, I can look at it in plan just to get a good stripe on it. And I can just left click, then edit, copy, edit, paste in place. And then I'm just dragging it out. And you can, it didn't catch everything, but you get the point. It will, you know, you have to be very careful and go in tight on it and pick stuff up. It picked up a pillar, but you can then tweak it from here. So it means you don't have to rebuild this area again. And I apologize, my computer is not reacting well today. It's due for service. I was did a lot with it yesterday, so I have a lot of content on here. So that's one thing I wanted to talk to you today on. Just if you like something that you built, you don't have to rebuild it. You copy it, paste it, and then what I do is go to File, Open. Do I want to save my changes? No. I would go to File, Open, and then I would seek a folder in my desktop called Paddy's Favorite Patios. And I would open that up and hit Paste. So it stays in there. So next time I have a job, I just go to that file, pull it out, and take it from there. The other thing I want to mention also is we talked about grouping. I do get questions, how do I do this stuff? Let's go into plan here. Let's go into a file new. So if I'm going to go very basic on this here. If I build a patio, Shift, and let's just look at it in perspective. If I want to put some pillars in here, I'll go to my column button, drop in a column, but you can edit it. Now you can change the column to, you know, a generic one that you will be building. Click number 20. Again, look at it and drag it into place. Magnet off will be a lot easier. Now, look at the dimensions. It has all these different dimensions, 1 foot 11, 1 foot 11, 4 foot 11. Maybe the pillar is too high. I want you to know that if you want to change the size of the pillar, if you hit this button, scale evenly, it means if I affect the width here to a foot, it pro rata knocks everything accordingly. The depth gets affected and the height. So let's go undo back to where we're at 4 foot 11. If I like the 2 foot by 2 foot, all you do is turn off this button, scale evenly, and then just go to the height and drop that down, 3 foot 6. So if that suits you, all I do, edit, copy, edit, paste in place. It means I'm now building the same column without editing every one that comes in. It's going to be the same specifications as the other one. And then I can do the same again. Edit, paste in place, and put it there. I'm just going to drop them in very quickly. Edit, paste in place, and put it in the far corner. Now, if, for example, this suits you, let's say this actually suits your design, and you make money doing this, and let's say it is clever. You can see it's bland, but I'm trying to make it as obvious as possible. If we do something like this, and you like the way that patio looks, and you might even say, let's go into plan mode and put a retaining wall from here to here. Put a retaining wall from here, shift button to here. Retaining wall here to there. Retaining wall here to there. Now, in perspective, that's what I just put in. If you happen to like this layout of a patio, and let's put in the landscape mode, let's go to accessories and put in a pergola as such. Never find these things. That's right here. Oh, let's pick an outdoor kitchen. I'll pick something. Let's put this in. Sorry, my head's bouncing today. It was a long day yesterday, teaching and a huge drive home in the blizzard. So let's say you like this, and you think, boy, I could sell this again, or I could use this design. All I do is left click, stripe over everything, edit, group. Then go to edit, copy, edit, paste in place. I put it into my favorite patios and I leave it there. So when now Mrs. Jones calls and says she wants me to do something on her house, a new project we've not met, instead of me throwing the kitchen sink at my first design, I would say, I understand what she's asking for. I would just go now and superimpose either a photograph or build our house around a pre-made landscape project. So you can see Mrs. Jones is going in now and Mrs. Stevens was deleted. And all I've done is delete the house, not the landscape design. I do that a lot because some of the designs you put out are beautiful. Some really work. Some are financially viable, and you would like to repeat that. If they're 40 miles apart, pen and paper days, we'd have to redo it anyway. In this instance, all I do is replicate. And let's say Mrs. Jones doesn't want the fireplace. It didn't come up in conversation, but the seat walls did. All I do is click on the design, hit ungroup. So now they're all individual units. Click on the fireplace and hit delete. The rest of it stays in place. Again, undo brings you back. So that's one way of looking at saving time, which is what this is all about. The other thing is in presentation. If I go into walkthrough mode, this is something that I think you should invest in. It's only a program. It's about $39 or $40. I might stand corrected on that. But let's say I want to show a presentation of this, and I like it. When I design and present, I give about 12 photographs of my design from a different angle. That means I've got a package to show them. It's kind of days of old with a blueprint on the table. You know, you could just pull out the blueprint and leave it there. And it's just one, it's stationary. It's a 2D drawing. With the 3D, make use of it. Make use of all the different angles, the fronts, the sides, the backs, the aerial, the ground level. Make use of it and give them a package and make a video. And we will talk about that in the next class in the final presentations. But you know, this is something that I want to mention to you. How do I take photographs? Well, every computer is different, and it doesn't matter how you screen capture, but I use a program called Snagit, and I hope it'll come up on the screen here in this mode. It's a little jittery today. I activate Snagit. It's S-N-A-G-I-T, Snag It. You see it there? I pull that up, and there's the button. It asks if I want to capture a video, an image, or a screen capture. And if I just say image in region, go to capture, and again, this is, I apologize, but this is jumping. I'm so sorry. All it does is, let's assume I captured this patio. It's not going to allow me, and it is my computer. But if you go, there it is, it caught it. I didn't know it caught it, but it did. So that's exactly what it did. It caught me not talking, which is a record. And there's the picture. And you can see all along here, and I'll come out of this mode here. Again, there is a prior picture I took with somebody who I think is in the class, how to build deck stairs. And these are all different pictures that are on the survey. And here's the thing with my crews, because I travel so much, I will take a section of the screen capture and I will text in this mode here. I can add all these texts and all these different shapes, and I can print what the square footage of that one designated area is there. Go to the next one. Go to here. Umbriana, 500 square feet. So it's giving my crews, just because I've designed it, I just click on it and snag it. It screen captures regions, and then I email them to the crews. And that's the value of that. That Snagit is brilliant. Why do I like Snagit? It's because if I go into share, go to the email, it goes into the body of the email. In a lot of software programs, you have to name the file and store it in a file on your hard drive. When I'm working at speed like this, I think that's a great angle to show, you know, Steve on the job or the client even. I just snag that and put it in the email, and they don't have to open up files. They receive the email and it's right there in the body of the email. So Snagit is a great way of presenting both to client and crew. Now let's get back into some landscaping trickery. No. Sorry. Right, what I'm going to show you now is how to create the beds. Anytime you're designing, even if we're hardscaping experts, that's what our business is. Let's say, you know, in the Unilock world, but it never hurts you to soften your designs. You can go really clinical and cold. Let's just put in a very quick house here. Now, if I'm trying to sell this job and it's a sidewalk, and let's put the sidewalk in, patio button, and I'm just gonna go very rough. So my computer's got a hangover. Then I'll put in the patio button for the driveway. Turn off this magnet here. I'll work at a bigger scale, so I apologize. So there's a driveway going in. So we can change the colors, and we will do that. But you know, when you get into the landscaping mode, you can, let's go into landscape mode and go to region, which is our mulch right here. Shift button. You can see the mulch curves again. Again, you can go to that first button there, the curve type, go straight. And you can notch out an area that designates itself as mulch. You can see, because I didn't start off in a straight line, I will take my whippings. I was naughty, go to the first point and straighten it out. Now, because I like these shapes, what I'm going to do, edit points there, I go to shape options, copy shape, go into the landscape, plant fill, shape options, paste shape. And there I've just pasted plants exactly into the mulch bed. Now that isn't necessarily what was required of me, but once I start doing stuff like this, it softens this design. Take it out, take it out. You know, it can be bland. Once you start to make it alive, your hardscaping actually takes a new dimension, and your chances of selling more increase. To the point, let's say you're putting in a sidewalk, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 job. You know, if you can make an extra $3,000 in planting, it picks up your overheads, and it's a bonus. You're there anyway, and we can easily put in front landscaping while we're at the same time putting in hardscaping. So in design mode, make use of the shapes and fill them in. Now, what I'll do here is go into plan, and I will go into region again here, start here, shift. I start again with my straight lines, mulch, edit points, round corners, and you can start to, I don't mind leaving a straight line in my beds either. So I can do something like that. Now I can start to put in a plant. Select a tree. Plants come in different models, pictures. I like models. Models sway in the wind. We'll watch this one sway. So there, you can put that in there. You can put in a hedge. Left click, right click. Again, you can see my my allegiance to that. But then I get a little goofy sometimes with a plant fill. I can go from here, shift. I'll let it buckle a little bit. And then I'm just manually rounding areas like this. Change the color so it will go my favorites. I do have favorites. And I can go to edit points. I might say just in this point here, you know, I can create a tighter bed of something. Let's look at this and walk through. You can see the difference this makes. Again, I apologize. Look at the difference in walkthrough. I mean, it's beautiful. And my goal is, oh, please slow down, boy. My goal is to sell hardscaping. But just by adding little features like this, it really kicks it out. And then I could say, you know what, they didn't ask for this, but while I'm there, why don't I go into my retaining wall mode and just do something like this? Again, look at that. Curve them all. Edit points. Go to this one. Shift down. This one. This one. Address all of them at the same time. Curve type straight. And you got a nice line there. Look at it in perspective. And you're starting to see some things here now. So here's a door. It won't sit at ground level. It will come up slightly to get away from the damp proofing. And all you do is put in a patio stair right at the bottom. And you have to go to plan to straighten that out, because look, see, when you design in perspective, this is exactly what you get. You're off. So I'm going to just bring this out to here. Then I'm going to go to the door, get it out of the way. I'm going to flip that symbol vertical here, get it backwards, and then look at the perspective again. The stairs are too high, obviously, because they default to that height. And all I do is knock it down with the elevation button on the right. And the stairs come down. I'm hesitant to do too much with it because, yeah, it keeps going. I'll just bring that up again. Bring these stairs up. There. So that'll give you an idea of how you do all this sort of stuff. And then if you want to go into a column here with a light, there is a column area that you can address. All you have to do is change the material and put in the column. Then you can address its height again. And this time I did it all evenly just for speed. This time you can do, if you go into the landscape mode, you can go into landscape light. Now there's the light. If I bring it in, and it's better to do this in plan because you get it central to the column. You'll see there, I was close, but not good enough. Let's zoom in a little bit. This is jumpy. Come on, jump in with me. There you have it. So there's the light. I like that, let's say, but look at it in perspective. It's come in at the ground, which is meant to. It defaults. So all you do is you raise the elevation of it. Come on, come on. See there? You can keep going with that. You can change the light. You know, all I do is click on it and edit the light. Now, specifically, if I like this light with this pillar at this height, all I do is hold down the control button and click the two together. I've highlighted the light, held down the control button, and I've designated that this pillar will go with the light. Then I go to edit, group, edit, copy, edit, paste in place. So now that grouping is going like this. I like both of them. You know, maybe I want more, I don't know. But anyway, you get the point. So instead of editing every item, you can just build one really nicely and copy it, and it stays in your arsenal, you know, for the delivery of the design. If I want to put in a screen porch here, go into plan, and I'm going to build another little house. I'm going to go from here, hit the house icon. I'm going to go here, shift. Look at it in perspective. I've blocked them off. What I do here then is I decrease my wall height to 0. Then I elevate my 0 height new house. I might not like the roof line, but we can adjust on that. What I do if I want to edit roof type is click on it. Then I go, and as soon as I enter these areas, you'll see nothing, then plus minus. And you might have to go in plan and get them exactly, but you can see what I've done there. I've just created a little bit of a porch. And then what I do is put a couple of columns to hold this up. Now it might be short of the height. All you do is you can turn off scale evenly and just raise the height. Now, instead of repeating that process, edit, copy, edit, paste in place. And there's my second pillar. So if you look at it from a distance, it's sloppy work, but you know, you can see how, you know, the context there. I've made a porch with 2 pillars. I can skinny down the pillars. I can change the pillars. All you do is click on the icon, and you can go into round. You can go skinny. You can change the colors. You know, all that's there for your discretion. The other thing I was going to show you today is if I go into window mode, let's just kick this house up a little bit and make it 2-story. If I put gotta go a little higher, but anyway, the porch is going to be out of perspective, but don't worry about that. If I want the windows, as we said last week, I place a window, window again. If I want to place one above it, window, there it is, drag it over. Or let's place it here. Let's put it up in the air. Control button raises it. I like the position of it. Edit, copy, edit, paste in place. There's my second one that goes there. A garage door. Place it here. Select the garage door that you want. And this is what Ray will be doing on next Tuesday. We're going to be showing different ways of doing it. Now, when you come to show this landscape and you have lighting in here, in the walkthrough mode, you're going to you can create a movie or whatever, but it's important to know you have environment settings. The environment settings is the time of day, and you can change the skyline. I can go into the city mode where you can see, for me, it would be Chicago in the background. And let's just do that. I just click on this, and you'll see these are all the different ones. Let's say this is Chicago. You'll see in the background now, Chicago in the background. And you can see my yacht. Yes, somebody's on it. I didn't give them permission. Hit OK. And then what we're going to do, go back to environment settings. But because I have lights in here, I'm going to change it to a sunset evening mode. Watch the lights. So that's really pretty. You know, you can see what change in the environment. So sometimes when you're doing a design, do it in a couple of modes, daytime and evening, so the ambience is there. Also, if we go around the back of the house, let's say we have a patio here, and let me just put a door here. Raise it up just a little bit. If I put in a patio here, shift button. If I want to put in a fireplace, no better time to do it. If I go to landscape mode, into accessory, there's your chairs. But if I change that into a fireplace, they're actually stored in kitchens. Ray, you'll probably have to explain why that ever got changed for us, but the fireplaces are in the kitchen mode. There is a front and the back of the fireplace. I'm going to spin it round, and you can see the front of it right there. Now, if you go into walkthrough mode, again, because it's evening, it will show the flames and the ambience of the fireplace. So if you are building outdoor kitchens and fireplaces, consider that show a clear daytime design and show a nice evening one. So that's something that we'll look at. Okay, one thing I want to mention also for fun. I love I love in all formats of landscaping. If I'm sitting out at night and I don't live by the Canadian oceans or the rustling seas and the Mexican bay, I do like to hear water. I have to hear water if I'm going to unwind at night. And I always use water features. And to that point, if I put in water features here, and I put in a pond, you can make your own pond. A lot of clicking going on to make your own pond. Or I can go into tools and I go to the pond wizard. And because I'm pond orientated, I will go to the pond wizard, hit next. There's loads that are preloaded. And in that preload, I will get something again being hit next. And there it is there. I'm going to bring it round to the patio as such. Look at it in perspective. Ooh, where's that patio? I touched it, that's why. Sometimes you'll see what happened here. There's my patio and the pond just interrupted its elevation. Pull the pond out and your patio should resurface. There's a priority going on there at times. So sometimes if you touch another object, you might get a jittery response. That's exactly why. But look at it in walkthrough. Again, look at that moon. Boy, that came up beautifully, didn't it? Now, if you put lights in here, which we will do, let's return now. Look at the moon on that water. Again, if you are called out for hardscaping project, look at that moon. That is beautiful. And with the sound, with the sound, it's incredible. And that's one of the ways to sell. But just go back into escape for a second. If I go into landscape and then start to put in landscape lighting here, just because we kind of fall in that, hardscape mode doesn't mean to say we don't have the pretty side of us. And you can change your lights. Now, some lights might not light up. I'll give you a heads up on that. But let's say if I like this one, edit, copy, edit, paste in place. Edit, paste in place. I'm actually going to put one over here. Edit, paste them. I won't go around the whole patio, but so there it is there. Look at it and walk through. Again, I advise you to turn it on in the evening, and some lights won't light up unless that is the case, unless you show it in evening mode. But the moon's in play. Ooh, the moon is in play in that, but you can see what lighting does to it. Again, not my business. I get into business to install landscape lighting, but I will use every opportunity whilst being on the job to try and pay my overheads. I'm not a crook. I'm just showing what will really make it pop. That's the last little thing here I'll show you on the ponds is if you hover over and you left click in walkthrough mode, you'll see brown pellets just falling into the water. Now watch the fish go get it. Here they come. And that's really neat, especially if you're at a table with this laptop in design mode and they have children there. It really is one of the best binding features of, I get a lot of it if I know the family well, I will let the kids press a button. And next thing for the next 3 days is when's Patty coming back, Patty and the fish. So that's these are the ways of making these little projects sing, you know, changing angles, corners. If you like curves, by all means. Why don't I, you know, why did I gravitate to these lines? It's because if I go into, you see it now, you've done it yourself. I don't have to labor this point, but if I went into patio and I didn't go in straight lines with my shift button and I started doing stuff like this as a patio, you can see the linear problems I've got. And if I went to edit points, I'd have to edit every one. And by editing one, you probably have to edit the second. The second biggest reason for it is if you want to put a seat wall around a patio, and that's flippantly placed, but if you had to put a seat wall in here, retaining wall, and you know, you'd have to do stuff like this. It doesn't sound too bad because I've got some straight points in there. But if that was really soft curving, you would have a lot of editing to look at there. So what I do is go in straight, and let's knock that out. And you know, like I said before, if I just go to patio and I pick this shape all the time. Where are you? Oh, it's not coming up. There you go. Oh, pools, swimming pools. I picked this shape, number 16. I love this patio. And I've built it so many times, I save it as a favorite. But imagine if you had to click the wall around, like we said last week. Shape options is your best friend. Shape options, copy shape, retaining wall, shape options, paste shape. Look at that, perfectly glued to the perimeter of the patio. Then what I do is go to shape options, go to step, and then I'm going to go to edit points, and I'm going to click a button and create an opening. Is it this side? Yeah, there it is. Take that down to the floor, and I can do it in various points. And there you can see I can walk in. I can delete this. I can take these points, this point here, delete it. Take that point, delete it, because you wouldn't have that maybe in the front. But as you can see, these are the ways to make good use of the time. And if you like what you see, you stripe areas. If I click this, edit points out. If I click this, hold down the control button. I can click that pillar, that pillar. I can go to edit, group, edit, copy, edit, paste in place. And now I've got a new group to throw into my favorite patios. I will finish up today with dormers. I did get a question on that the other day. A dormer is no different to another house that we built here. So what I would do here is get a house, and I'm just going to blindly click away here. And I'm going to push it into the house, turn off this, and I'm going to elevate it. So I'm still working with there it is. It's going to pop through the roof now. There it is. Pop it out to the front. Keep going with it if you want. It's actually picking up the overhang of the roof. That's what. So you can go to the roof overhang. That might look a bit goofy. And you can do the roof pitch, and the roof overhang is 1'6". You can knock it back just by decreasing it. You can change the angle of the roof pitch, and you can change the roof type. Because it's a house, you can change all these different things about this, turn it into a gable, change the back of it as well. But that's how you do it. And then because it's got its own house, you can add a window to it. That one's too wide. Click on the window, and we'll just pick something skinny. Let's pick this one just for the joke. So you can do stuff like this. You know, you can enlarge it and elevate it down a bit. So that's how you build the porches. It's a separate house, but you change all the elevations at the back of it to meet the other pitch. Bring the wall height down if you want. So that's how you do it. So today we've gone through some adding features of making your houses pretty, and copy shape, paste shape is brilliant. There's your time saver, save items, group items. In fact, Ray does a brilliant, if you don't mind me saying this, Ray, layers. Let's just talk about layers. I am not a fan of layers, and there's a reason for it, is I get distracted. And when you build in layers, I can put in, let's say, pavers. And we're going to go through this in the next class, but what that means is I can now start to work in a paver mode. And whilst I'm in the paver mode, everything I'm working on will be in that layer. You can hide the layer and lock it, meaning it can't be destroyed or moved while you're designing something else. But if a client, let's say this thing here, the pond, if the client didn't want the pond, I would have the pond built into its own layer. So it is a part of this sandwich that I built. And if the client says, I'd like to see the design without the pond, I would hide the pond in its own layer. And we'll go through that on Thursday. Ray does a really nice rendition of that. I'm not a fan of it. Why am I not a fan of some of these items? It's because I lose concentration. If my phone goes in the middle of a layer, I'll have 8 trees in there in the pond layer, and if I hide it, there goes my trees. So you got to be a little bit careful how you use the layers. But there's a trick out of that. I'm going to show you. If you are as distracted as I am, I'll show you how I overcame that, and it's a great way of using layers. But I'll be honest with you, I never think of it when I get in because it's not my style. But you'll develop your own style. So Ray, would you like to come back in?
Turn your
put the microphone on.
Turn your volume up.
I can't hear you, Ray. If
you turn your volume up.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, we're having a little bit of an issue here with Ray. I can't hear what
just turn your volume up.
I've lost Ray for a bit there. So what we're going to do is come in on Thursday, and we're going to go through on Thursday the layer aspect. We're going to have a guest feature with Ray on bringing in features of a house. We're going to talk about making the design yours by putting in your company name, your signs into the blueprints. We're going to brand it. So there's all different things that we're going to go into on Thursday, next Tuesday, I apologize. But we're also going to touch elevations. We're going to start on elevations, and that will wrap up into the final session of the U level. So today is more landscape orientated to show you how to prettify your designs. We talked about why I use methods over others, but you'll get your own. You know how to put in a porch now. You know how to put in bay windows and all this kind of stuff, raised windows. You've got enough information now in 2 classes to continue. 1 second, I'm going to answer this phone by Ray. Are you just?
No, I just need to turn your volume up so you can hear me.
Oh, I apologize. It is up, Ray. I'm up 100%.
Oh,
there.
No problem. Okay, sorry about that. I we'll figure that one out. That's another mystery.
Okay, I apologize, Ray. I didn't. Yeah, I'm having problems with the computer. I got to get it cleaned up. You can see that I got thousands of. With the emails that I get, I do little sketches sometimes and send them out to people, but it really packs my computer up, and I have to clear out very, very often. So I apologize for that, but I got in really late last night, and a long trip. But I think we got enough content in today to keep you designing. So I think that's enough information for today. I am going to capture some chats, and let me see here. Yeah. I'll capture this and I will email and look through them. But I will clean my computer out. I will be on the road a lot next week. I'm going to Omaha, Nebraska. If you're out there, I'll be in Omaha next week, and then I'm heading out to Colorado. But I will be in touch. You can get a hold of me, and I encourage you to do that. So I thank you from my end. Ray, do you want to sign off here?
Sure, I'll sign off. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. I'm sure you guys can all hear me. Sorry about the audio issues. We'll definitely have that resolved for next Tuesday. And I got a whole mitt full of really cool things to show you on Tuesday in Patty's seminar. So thank you for coming, everyone. If you have specific questions, please email Patty at his email address. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you, Ray. And I will look through some of these things here. Stay tuned. We will get to the emails. It's just, as you can imagine, the first class we had over 500 registered. It's a lot of work, but